Hello, I am Sebastian Wilson, and welcome to another devlog to my nomadic crafting game, the Umbra. I have added quite a bit of stuff this month, but let me first talk about how this game will work. Pretty much the main game loop for this game is that the player collects materials to upgrade their tools and weapons until they get far enough to fight the boss at the end of the dungeon, and they move to the next level. That is the simplest way to explain the game. But one thing about this game is that each level will be very limited. Each level is essentially a 300 by 300 square of procedurally generated caves with unbreakable walls surrounding the zone. I did this so that I could have more control over the environment and experience. The caves within the square is procedurally generated as well as the ores and materials, but the dungeons will be linear and handcrafted. As for the crafting system, I wanted to do a somewhat mix between Minecraft and Terraria. I really liked how, in Minecraft, each recipe has to be learned by the player instead of looking at a menu which tells the player how to craft certain items. That is until they added the recipe book. However, I liked how in Terraria, the recipes aren't confined to a small number of resources for each recipe, that you might have to use a lot of resources to craft a single item. In the future, I will make it that there's some sort of way to find recipes, but if the player is able to memorize it, then they wouldn't need the assistance. Perhaps through trading with an NPC or finding a recipe in a dungeon would be interesting. I also have some back-end systems implemented, such as a rudimentary settings menu as well as a saving system. The saving system has been one of the most difficult parts of the game for me, that and the inventory system. However, I managed to get them both to work so far, and they are pretty much how I had hoped for. There are of course bugs and things to iron out, but the majority of the parts are implemented how I want them to be. This past month has been pretty busy. Since I am a full-time student, my time is variable, and some days I don't get as much progress done, but I'm still sticking through it. The summer is coming and I will hopefully have more time to work on this game. This month, I've started work on the next level. One of the things I wanted to do with this game was to make each level into its own distinct biome. I love exploring in games and finding some sort of strange new landscape, and so I wanted this game to have plenty of diverse places to find. I wanted the biome for this new level to be something like a glacial caverns, where there is snow falling everywhere and ice crystals scattered across the ice. I made it so that the player slides everywhere, but I also made the caverns much larger than the previous level. This way there is more of a purpose to the sliding. I wanted the space to feel open and desolate, but also with a sense of wonder. I have created some new materials for this level as well. You are now able to make steel, which is the next upgrade after iron, and then I have added a new metal, anatite. I want this game to have a lot of weird and interesting materials to be used with your tools and weapons, a lot of them being magical. When you strike anatite ore, the area around it gets set on fire, and so does the player. Eventually I'll add a way to counteract this, but I'll have to see what I can do. I have also added some new materials for the new level that will be used for crafting in the future. As well, I've also added a new crafting station. Before you only had a furnace and an anvil, but now I created a forge. I wanted the players to be able to upgrade their crafting stations as well as their tools, so the forge will be an upgrade to the furnace. However, I still want the furnace to be able to have a function, so I was thinking it could be used for metals up until smelting iron. Then the forge will smelt higher tier ores, and the furnace can cook up materials for other purposes, such as cooking or perhaps alchemy or potion crafting. Upcoming, I have more things planned to implement. Chiefly, I want to work on NPCs. I want to scatter some NPCs around each level to act as a way for the player to understand the story of the game and bring the setting to life. First, the NPCs will give the player a quest, and upon fulfilling the quest, they will have more, or they might be able to trade with the player. I want to also add some sort of relationship system where they are able to become companions to the player. This might be a large aspect of the game to implement, but it is something I feel will make the game more immersive to the world and give the player something more to strive towards. Another upcoming thing I want to tackle is some sort of magic system. I want the player to be able to perform magic and craft spells and enchantments. I have several ideas on how to develop this, but I haven't put them into practice yet. I also want to add alchemy and potion crafting to give the players another avenue towards crafting. I have several materials in the game that could be utilized for this, but I'll have to put in more thought into how it'll be done. I have a lot of work to do on this game, but I'm having a lot of fun making it. If you made it this far into the video, then I thank you. I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll come back with another update in the near future, so I hope you all stick around. Hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.